Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another installment of BrickWall Reviews. I'm Dave, and tonight I'm here to talk about the finale, the ending of the trilogy of one of the greatest film series I've ever seen, one of my favorite MCU series of movies, The Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3. Before I get into it, I want to remind you guys, go ahead, hit that like button down below, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, share this video with your friends, family, and loved ones, and I just want to thank you all for tuning in all the time to all the reviews, whether this is your first one or you've been watching for a long time. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you guys. And so without further ado, I'm going to get into this review. Oh, also make sure you follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on Thursday nights on Twitch, we do the podcast Life Brick Wall. So all that out the way, this movie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, this hands down to me, after taking 2 days, I saw this on Saturday. Okay, so it's Monday, so it's 2 days. 2 days, the time of this recording. I've sat with this movie for 2 days in my head and really really thought about it, really let it process, really picked out some things in there. And I can say without a shadow of the doubt, this is one of the most flawless movies I've ever seen, number one. Number two, this is definitely up there with my favorite. This is probably my favorite trilogy of movies. Like, period. Point blank, period. This movie makes, okay, let me just take the entirety of the trilogy out of it. This movie is one of the greatest movies I have ever seen, point blank, period. Okay? The first Guardians is in my top 5 movies of all time. The first Guardians is in my top 5 to top 10. Okay? I love the first Guardians movie. I thought it was so inventive, so unique. I love the Oceans movies, right? Oceans 11, 12, 13. Captain America, The Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Like, in no particular order. In no particular order. But I love this movie. It was so good, yo. Like, and on top of that, if y'all don't already know, if this is your first time on the channel, if you don't know, I love Rocket Raccoon to the fullest. That's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Marvel character, period. Like, in the MCU, like, there's Hulk and there's Rocket Raccoon, right? In the MCU, I love Rocket Raccoon. Put Rocket Raccoon next to anybody is what I say. Like, because he is a scene stealer, a showstopper, one of the best characters. Oh, James Gunn did an amazing job creating that character and creating his persona. And speaking of James Gunn, shout out to James Gunn. James Gunn, Mr. James Gunn, sir, you did an amazing job with this film. I thought that this was masterfully crafted. This movie does not only serve as the third in the trilogy, right? It's not just the third movie. No, this does what I don't see a lot of movies doing, right? Or what some movies do, but they do it a little jumbled. Like, this takes, and it goes full circle. The entire, it's like, when you see it, because I'm not going to spoil anything, but when you see this, and if you saw the first Guardians and the second Guardians and Infinity War and Endgame, and you see this movie, you can be like, wow, there's a complete arc that goes all through this, like, through line. And it helps that James Gunn had a hand in the arc for the Guardians. So, like, he wrote or was consulted about a lot of what the Guardians characters were throughout the MCU up to this point, right? If I remember reading that correctly, James Gunn had a hand in these characters. Like, these are his characters, and he made sure certain things flowed a certain way, like they were consistent, so to speak, right? And man, so this movie, I'm trying to figure out where to start, because I don't, like I said, I don't want to do any spoilers for this. I'm gonna do a spoiler discussion about this movie. Hopefully, I will do a spoiler discussion about this movie. I know I say that about a few movies and I never get around to it, but this one I want to do a spoiler discussion because there's so much in this movie that is worth talking about, but can only be done with spoilers. You know what I mean? But from the moment this movie starts, right? So this movie does something that I love when movies do it, right? Infinity War did it. Where it's just like, okay, we're gonna give you a couple minutes, settle in, come on, see the characters. Okay, here we go. And then boom, we gonna pop off of some action. We just gonna keep the train moving. And that's what this movie does. Like you get about a good 5 minutes, 5 minutes getting reacclimated to the characters, kind of getting reacclimated to the world. You know what I'm saying? Getting to see little glimpses of the characters in case you forgot how they were, or what type of person they were in these movies. And then like after that, this movie pops off. Boom! And it's to the point where I wasn't even expecting. Okay, so I get minor, little itty bitty baby spoilers. Sorry. So we all know Adam Warlock is in this movie, right? You would think that Adam Warlock would be like, okay, maybe like 30 minutes, 45 minutes into you would think it would be like a little bit of a build up or something, right? Nope. And that's all I'm gonna say, because at that point, it's going down. And it's whoo, and it wasn't just like I said, if you saw Infinity War and you saw how that movie popped off, this movie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, pops off in a way very, if not exactly the same way as Infinity War pops off. And I mean, like, again, I mean that as in, like, you get the characters, you get your little time to sit there with the characters, see who they are, kind of, get their personality and kind of get and settle into the world. And then, boom, right there, we are in the middle of the action. There's a nonstop ride until the end. And what I love about this movie is, like I said, again, this is, man, this is so much of Rocket's story. Like you finally get, and I know you probably all noticed from the trailers in the background, the marketing, blah, 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 blah. You get Rocket's origin story in this movie. And it starts there, right? Oh man, boy, let me tell you something about this movie, right? If there's one thing I could say about this movie, I'm gonna be all over the place. So I'm really trying not to spoil it. There's one thing I can say about this movie. It is an emotional roller coaster. This movie has everything, like everything a movie can have in it. This movie has, right? And by that I mean it has the action, it has the romance, it has the drama, it has the suspense, it has the emotion. It has it all. Like it has it all. It has all those things that like a movie tries to put all these different tones, different things in, the comedy, like, and the jokes are so well timed. Like you will be in a heavy moment, not like certain other MCU movies. I'm not going to call anything out, but certain criticisms of some MCU movies were that they would have this really deep, serious moment and then funny. And it's just like it's so jarring and it doesn't work. But with this movie, when the jokes come after those serious moments, you're like, oh, thank God that there's a joke right now, because that was heavy and we do not need to go back there. And then it says, oh, no, we do. And it takes you right back there. I'm telling you, there were a few points where I was like, I had to fight my tears. I was like, I'm not going to cry. It's not going to get me. I'm not going to do this. I'm sitting there in my seat. I'm like, not going to do it. Not going to cry. And I still shed a couple of tears because there are some heavy, and I mean heavy moments in this movie. Like, this is a dark movie. All for what it's worth. This movie is dark. Like dark. It's dark comedy, dark action. It pushes the boundary there. Like I'm not gonna hold you. This is a deep ass movie for real. And it's like, not only that, but like I said, it's an emotional roller coaster. An emotional roller coaster. And everybody, every single character gets a moment to shine. Not action-wise, but just as a character. And we've come with these since 2014. We've been with these characters, mind you, right? They were introduced to us, to the world, right? As James Gunn tells his story, they were introduced to us in 2014. 9 years ago, we were introduced to the Guardians of the Galaxy. We've had Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2, Infinity War, Endgame, the holiday special, and this. And if you follow, and Thor Love and Thunder, let's not forget their appearance in Thor Love and Thunder. If you follow all 7 appearances and you see this movie, you're going to absolutely love it. If you are a fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy, you are going to absolutely love this movie. This was an amazing film. It was amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I cannot think of a complaint that I have about this movie. I can nitpick about Adam Warlock, and I think my words about Adam Warlock will be the same as many other people's, which is just like, well, it would have been nice to see him in the other MCU movies before this. It would have been nice to see him at some point before then. Like it just would have been nice to see Adam Warlock face off against Thanos, or be there with the Infinity Saga, because that's his comic book origin, is he has to do with the Infinity Stones and Thanos, and he was there for the whole Infinity War Johns, but he wasn't in the movies. Now he's there, and it's so crazy. But I mean, outside of that, I have really no complaints about the fucking movie. Like, I cannot stress this enough. This was a dope movie. Like, I was mind blown. I had not really mind blown, but I was thoroughly satisfied, right? I would say the only other movie in the MCU, there are very few movies in the MCU that leave me very satisfied like this did, right? And it's like where Spider-Man No Way Home took Peter through the ringer, right? That boy, that shit was amazing. This put the whole team through some shit. And so good. And then like Rocket Raccoon origin story. Oh man. And then and the villain, High Evolutionary, man, that guy was a total dick. But it was just like I would say that though, right? For all the credit for how good the High Evolutionary was, I'm not gonna say he was my favorite villain. Like, I'm not gonna say he was like the best villain. I kind of want a little bit more from. I don't know. And this is part of why I don't really read reviews or look at reactions online beforehand. Because I saw in passing on Twitter, as one tends to do, see things on passing on the internet. It's in passing. You're scrolling, you see certain things, and you see a lot about, even beforehand. When the directors and the producers and blah 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 are talking about the actors and all that good stuff. There was a thing that kind of put High Evolutionary, at least with the performance, above a lot of things, right? I saw some feedback. I can't particularly remember what it was, but they do like the pictures, like, oh, the top villains in the MCU and stuff like that. And it's like, he was menacing, he was mean, he was evil. You didn't like him too much, which is good. You're not supposed to like him, but it was like, I don't know. He wasn't like there for me, but he was there. He was a dope villain. That's not me saying he was not a good villain. He was a great villain. Like, and his motivation was just like, you're crazy, and I almost spoiled it. No, I can say this. No, I can't say that. It's a spoiler. I can't say it. But you're a bad mamma jamma when. That's all I'm gonna say. But you're a bad mamma jamma when. All right, I'm gonna just say it. When there may. No, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I want y'all to get the best experience of this movie that you possibly can. And I cannot spoil it. Well, I'm going to try my damn near hardest, and not just on the pod, because I know sometimes I'm going to try to make a separate review for this movie. Well, I'm just going to talk spoilers, and I'm going to try to get some people on here. We're going to talk spoilers, and we're going to go in, and we're just going to go in for a while about this movie, because it is so good, y'all. Like, I really like this movie. I really love this movie. It's so good. I'm like, yo, I need to go back and watch the first two, but I want to watch this all as the trilogies back to back to back. You know what I mean? Like, this is good. This is a really good movie, yo. Like, and it's dark. I'm pretty sure by now everybody knows about the big F-bomb, right? Everyone's heard about it, right? There is the F-bomb in here. The F-bomb for modern days, they say the word fuck. Okay, like, because I know F-bomb means so many different things now. Don't even have it like it used to be, but they say fuck in this movie. And when they say it, when it said, the context of what it said, and the scene that what it said, it had the theater I was in. I mean, there were parts where we all bust out laughing. There were plenty of parts of that, but that right there got the howling from the theater. Everyone was like, "Whoa!" just cracking up because it's such a moment. And even when the people I went with, they were like, "Well, I would have said I was thinking the exact same thing," and they said it, and it makes sense that they said it because I was thinking the same thing. Because why would you not? I'm not spoiling it, I promise y'all, but yeah, this was. I mean, and Groot was just awesome, and the oh man, it was one part I could tell you because they do like like it's like a little recap of sorts of the journey thus far. And Peter Quill does take responsibility for Infinity War. I can tell you that much. Okay, he does take responsibility for it. Okay, so all of y'all who was just like, "Oh, Peter fucked up and he's never gonna take," no, he takes responsibility for it. It's cool, but you'll have to see that moment to really appreciate it. That's my one spoiler. Um, let's see what else about this movie did I really fucking like. Like I loved everything about this movie. It was and again with Rocket being my favorite character, the emotion driven around him being the main star, like the main star of this, and going into his story and then seeing all the shit that he went through, yo, like hmm man, yo. And then who was the one part? It was one part in this movie. There's a couple parts, but there's one part in particular. It really started to tear. It was tearing me down. And then there was another part. There's a moment that if you're anything like me, there's a moment with a particular character that that you may have been waiting on for a long time, and that you may not have ever thought that would happen, right? And that's what I mean when this moment happens. I will tell you. I'll tell you the character it happens to. It happens with Quill. There's a moment, and you gonna be like, "Oh wow!" Like it brings it full fucking circle. And I was just like, "Wow!" They didn't even have to, but they did. And by now, you probably have guessed what it was. But I'm not going to say because you might be wrong. You probably are wrong, and I'm not going to confirm or deny anything for you. But anyway, this oh man, I'm upset that I've done this review now. I'm upset that I'm here now doing this review live for y'all because I'm like, damn, I really should have. But I wanted to get some initial thoughts out. Catch the wave, open the weekend and everything. But I really wanted to get some of these thoughts out. And plus I do want to watch some other reviews just to get some different frames of thoughts in there too. Because I don't watch other reviews before I do my review. I like to come in with my thoughts, not influenced by anything else. But this was, I mean, it was solid. This was a solid film. It sits at 2 hours and 20 some odd minutes. And honestly, like there's a part in this movie where and I said I would say this earlier. There's a part in this movie where one of the main characters straight up murders someone. Not like murdered, like, like, oh, there's a bad guy, we gotta boom, 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 like boom, 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 and we shoot them and they're dead, like face this army stuff. No, like this the hero character murders a character, a villain character that was built with that had they have a name, there's a personality attached to them. You either hate them or you somewhat like them before they die. And when that happens, when they get that murder, I cannot wait to do my spoiler review. You gonna be like, I was sitting like, whoa, like I was caught off guard by just how brutal that scene. It was brutal. I'm not even gonna lie to you. For for Marvel, this was brutal. Like this, like when I say like this film gets dark, it pushes the boundary. Like it's a PG-13, like it's old school PG-13, like when it was pushing limits. Like, yeah, what I mean? But all that to say, this is good. But if you're not comfortable with a lot of the dark stuff and a lot of like tougher edge, what we would call edge of PG-13 type violence. Like, it's not like no blood or like gore or nothing because it's still PG-13. But like, if there are certain things that you get uncomfortable with, you might want to, I don't know, just stick with the movie. The movie is good and it does what it needs to do. And every single thing that happens in this movie makes sense to the characters. There are a lot of nerve clenching moments, especially one towards the end, where I was for sure one of these motherfuckers was going to bite this bullet. And the way they presented that shit had me on the edge of my seat. I was damn near about to lose my mind. Woo! That was something, man. If you are sensitive to animal cruelty, this might make you a bit uncomfortable because we all know from the first Guardians of the Galaxy how Rocket was experimented on, and as he said in the first movie, he was ripped apart and put back together, and ripped apart and put back together, and made into some type of monster. His words from the first movie. And you see some of that in here. You see some animal cruelty in here. It's nothing like too extreme or dangerous, but you do see it. And it, if you're a little sensitive to that, just remember PETA actually, the organization PETA just gave this movie an award for being so forward and transparent about the dangers of animal cruelty. So just know that if you're a little sensitive to it, that it is being seen as a positive by the actual organization who tells us do not abuse these fucking animals. So I hope that calms your spirit. Okay, this is a good movie. This is a fucking amazing movie. I have not come out of a movie feeling this way. I've not come out of a Marvel movie feeling this way since No Way Home, where I was just like, damn, they put them niggas through the shit. And in this one, I was like, damn, man. But that's not to say this has a somber ending. This actually has a full circle ending. This has a really sweet, nice ending. And honestly, I couldn't have asked for a better ending to this. Like, there are no loose ends, only avenues for continuation. Right? James Gunn always say he's not coming back for volume 4, for a potential volume 4, or a whatever continuation of a Guardians of the Galaxy could exist. He's not going to be returning for that, mostly because he's at DC now, running the DC films, getting ready for his Superman movie. Shout out to him. But also just because it's his time. Like, we all know what happened. For those of you who don't know, James Gunn was fired from Marvel over some old tweets, and that was opened the door for him to go to DC. And of course, he was rehired by Marvel. He came back to finish the story, and he finished the story, and he finished the entire story. There are no loose ends. I'm going to say that right now. There are no loose ends at the end of this movie. I was satisfied as a story. I felt like I watched a complete entire story. I felt the way I did after Endgame, where it's like, all right, now I'm good. I mean, if you want to do something else, that's fine, but I'm good. Like, I'm fine. I said after Endgame, I said, I'm fine. I don't got to see no more Marvel. I mean, I'll see it, but I'm not required to. I'm good. Like, this is a good movie. And I've said that a bazillion times throughout this entire review. This is good. This is worth it. This is worth the theater run. This is worth the 2 hours and 20 plus minutes that this is. 2 post-credit scenes, one in the middle, one at the end. You already know how they do. So nothing that sets up any big thing for Kang or in the future or anything, but it does give you a taste of if someone else does step in to do another Guardians, or if they do something with them in the next Avengers movies, we know where they are. We know who's there. We know who's around. We know where we can find people, so we won't be jarred by anything. But it doesn't like set up like, oh, here's the next big bad. Here's the next thing we're going to do in the next movie. No, it's a perfect freaking ending, And this, had it not been for Infinity War and Endgame doing so much with the characters and those characters being so involved in those stories, honestly, these 3 movies could stand. And even without because you do kind of the Infinity War and Endgame, especially with some of the stuff tying in with Gamora to this story as well. But had it not been for those, this could have been a perfect standalone trilogy. Honest to God, like I might even just watch these 3 movies and not even, like I said earlier, just watch the three Guardians movies and the Christmas special and say fuck Infinity War and Endgame. I don't need to watch that shit again. Like this was good. Okay, I cannot stress that enough. This is it and you know, unfortunately the box office ain't all goody super duper great, but it like come on, like we're in fucking weird ass times anyway, so I don't really look too much at the box office numbers. I'm pretty sure, especially after this opening weekend, those numbers are going to shoot up in my opinion, but you know, that's just me, that's just how I feel. But let's see, and all the cash returns. And you got a couple of new Sylvester Stallone. Oh, okay, so remember that post-credit scene in Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2 where they had like the other Guardian scene with Sylvester Stallone and all them other people in there? Ving Rhames, I think Ving Rhames was in there. I don't know, I remember. But yeah, they're all back. Like literally, this movie does not leave any loose ends. It's crazy. Even I can say this. Even Howard the Duck is back in this. Come on, no loose ends. This is great. This is a great movie. Even with the plot line set up in the movie, they don't leave any loose ends. It's crazy. Maybe one, but no, not even one. I forgot. Yeah. Okay. No, this is a great fucking movie. Let's see. This currently is sitting. If I can find any information about the this currently has an 8.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, but y'all know we don't give a fuck about that. Dave, what you think about the movie? What do I think about the movie? Well, thank you for asking me. Despite me praising the hell out of this movie, I'm giving it a 4.9 out of 5 stars. Ooh, why are you giving it 4.9? Like I said, I've given myself Saturday, Sunday, and most of today to really think about this movie and whether or not I'm going to put it at 5 stars or 4 or anything lower. And 4.9 just feels right to me. I don't have many gripes with this movie. And I guess when I do my spoiler, when and if I do my spoiler review, which I'm really going to push to do my spoiler review, I'm not even going to hold you. I'm really going to push to do that. So pray for us. The spoiler review will come. And I think when I'm able to talk spoilers, I think I will rationalize why I give it the 4.9, because there are things I don't want to say. And I wish I could explain some of these things. But I won't. But it is a 4.9, and that's not a negative. It's not a knock to anything. It's a fucking solid film, and I do encourage y'all to see it. I've been here for almost 30 minutes talking about this movie, and I did not expect that at all. But it's really good. You guys should really check it out. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 now playing in theaters. Do your best to make it to the theater and see it. If not, I mean, I don't know if you want to wait to Disney Plus to see this movie. It's really good. You're going to hear a lot of people talking about it in the coming weeks. I promise you, the discourse about this film or the discussion about this film is only going to increase as the weeks go on, up until maybe the next big movie, like what, The Little Mermaid or something comes out. And I see this movie continuing to do very good. It was great. This was a great way for James Gunn to go out of the MCU. And I'm excited. I'm actually excited for what he can do with a Superman film. Not to say that I wasn't before, because I do like James Gunn and his directing style and his tropes that he has in there. I love that. I've just never been a big Superman guy, and I feel like seeing his version of Superman is what's gonna help increase my enjoyment of Superman, because Superman Lois, the TV series, is what I cling to when I want to see some good Superman. When I feel like I want to like Superman, I cling to Superman Lois, the TV series on CW. Is a great show. We reviewed it once on here, so make sure you'll find that here on the channel. But yeah, I just James Gunn is amazing. He did it again. He made another great fucking film. Like, I even want to go back and watch the Suicide Squad and be like, is he really this good? Like, is he really that consistent? He's consistent. But that's all I gotta say. I don't want to be here any longer. This is gonna be like a 30 fucking minute review, and I didn't plan for that at all. I planned for 15. But anyway, that's all I have to say, man. 4.9 on 5 stars. This is an amazing movie. Make sure you see it in theaters. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But yeah, so check it. So, but thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all forms of social media: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. And take care of yourselves. Stay tuned to the channel for more reviews. Until next time, be easy, stay breezy. We are Groot. Peace.